You mean to tell me if Steve Harvey, your favorite comedian, you mean you've been waiting for him to do stand-up for 15 years now?
The rivalry between comedy giants Steve Harvey and Cat Williams has reached a boiling point, and during a live Q&A, a 75-year-old Samuel L. Jackson revealed shocking allegations about the pressure in Hollywood for male comedians to wear dresses, something many believe is part of an initiation into the industry's deeper, darker side. With Williams's intimidating presence leaving many in fear, the question arises, who's telling the truth? Who's playing games? Let's dive into this controversial-filled tale. That will make you think twice about the true power behind the laughs. Jackson's words have raised questions about the already fragile relationship between two of the finest stand-up comedians in the industry during his talk. He delved into the backstory of their rivalry, one that dates back much further than many fans might have realized. The conflict allegedly started years ago, reaching a boiling point during the 2017 Comedy Jam. Jackson highlighted a key moment from the show when Dave Chappelle gave Cat Williams a well-deserved recognition. The audience, as well as the comedians, burst into laughter, with Williams joining in on the fun. However, Steve Harvey, who was also present, seemed visibly uncomfortable and tense. Many believed this moment was driven by envy as the spotlight shifted away from Harvey and onto Cat Williams in an attempt to regain attention. Harvey made a comment that seemed aimed at drawing the focus back to him. I'm nervous as hell, right? But Dave Chappelle, undeterred, continued to speak highly of Cat Williams, redirecting the audience's attention once again, realizing his efforts weren't working. Harvey tried again, saying, "Let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time, in the same room?" This remark seemed to take the focus off Williams once again. Though the audience may not have caught the subtle shift in focus, insiders in the comedy world recognized it. Immediately, many, including Samuel L. Jackson, expressed disappointment, believing that moment belonged to Cat Williams. While Williams wasn't on stage or part of the lineup, they felt he deserved his time in the spotlight. After all, he had paid his dues in the comedy world and earned the recognition he was receiving on one of the most significant comedy stages in the country. For many insiders, Steve Harvey's attempt to steal the spotlight from Cat Williams was seen as a low blow. They believed that as a seasoned professional, Harvey could have waited for a moment, perhaps adding a few words about Williams' legacy before shifting the focus. But instead, Harvey couldn't resist the urge to redirect attention back to himself, a move they viewed as driven by his ongoing rivalry with Cat Williams. Insiders argued that while Harvey could have stolen the spotlight with some finesse, his abrupt shift was rough, and it reeked of envy. However, Steve Harvey wasn't the only one who subtly tried to claim the spotlight that night. Cedric the Entertainer, though more discreet in his actions, also made a move that didn't go unnoticed by fans. Observant viewers caught Cedric nervously laughing during Dave Chappelle's monologue about Cat Williams, almost as if he couldn't wait for it to end. But when Harvey made his second attempt to seize the focus, Cedric quickly supported him with a loud, "Yeah!" as if signaling it was time to move on from Cat and get back to business. Though Cedric's behavior was more understated and easy to overlook, many in the industry weren't pleased with his actions. They believed that Cedric could have at least pretended to be happy for his colleague, who wasn't even on stage with them at the time. It was 2017, even years before Cat Williams publicly called out both Harvey and Cedric during his interview on Club Shay Shay. And fans began to question why these two comedians were treating Williams this way. The answer, according to Samuel L. Jackson, lies in the fear that both Cedric and Harvey had of Cat Williams. Jackson reportedly shared that they weren't afraid of Williams physically, but rather they feared that he would steal the spotlight away from them. Jackson pointed out that in a video of the event, Harvey's nervousness was apparent when he said, "I'm terrified Cat Williams is going to show up. I'm nervous as hell." It seems that beyond his attempts to redirect attention, Harvey was genuinely intimidated by the presence of Cat Williams. Fearing that Williams would dominate the moment, Samuel L. Jackson reportedly revealed that Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer's fear of Cat Williams stems from the belief that Williams is simply a better comedian than they are. Cat himself hinted at this during an interview with Shannon Sharpe, where he took shots at both Harvey and Cedric. He recalled an incident early in his career when he and Steve Harvey participated in a comedy battle competition that Cat claimed he completely dominated. This took place during the 2008 Championship of Comedy, a show where the two comedians were scheduled to perform. While the event wasn't initially pitched as a direct face-off between them, the Cat apparently grew frustrated with Steve Harvey's antics and decided to make a point. He seemed to provoke Harvey into a confrontation, even making personal jabs about the talk show host's appearance. One of the most notable jokes he made was about Steve's hair, or rather the lack of it. Cat mocked Steve, claiming that the game show host wore a man's wig, a fact that was not widely known at the time. Steve had always sported a high-top fade on TV, and his hairline was something many admired, especially younger men, whose hairlines were rapidly receding. In fact, Steve's iconic hairstyle had earned him admiration in Hollywood, with many praising his look and ranking him among the best-looking black men in the industry. His hair seemed to be a symbol of confidence, as heads would turn whenever he walked by. So when Cat Williams relentlessly joked about Steve's hairless head, it struck a significant blow to his self-esteem. It's hard to say exactly how Steve felt at the moment, but it was clear that Cat's comments had an impact in the years that followed. Steve eventually abandoned the wig and opted for a clean-shaven look, seemingly confirming Cat's playful criticism. Today, Steve proudly sports his bald head, which pairs perfectly with his well-groomed mustache. It was a big transformation for someone who once hid his true appearance behind a wig, and many speculated that Cat Williams' words had something to do with it. Cat Williams once claimed that his words had such a profound impact on Steve Harvey that it caused the veteran comedian to step away from stand-up entirely. According to Cat, Steve struggled to face his audience after their heated exchange. If Cat's account holds any truth, it would explain why Steve Harvey might have been so intimidated by the presence of Cat Williams after all. How could anyone feel comfortable when the person responsible for ending their stand-up career is in the same room? It's no wonder that Samuel L. Jackson allegedly pointed out that Steve gets visibly tense whenever Cat is nearby. This theory would also shed light on why Steve Harvey admitted to feeling nervous during a 2017 event at the Comedy Jam 25, where Dave Chappelle made a joke about Cat Williams. The tension was palpable, and Steve's anxiety was clearly linked to the memory of his own stand-up career being derailed by Cat's remarks years earlier. But the dynamic didn't stop with Steve Harvey. Cedric the Entertainer's nervous energy during the same event was subtle, but it speaks to a deeper, more complex issue. Many fans weren't even aware that Cedric and Cat Williams had a feud until Cat revealed the backstory during an explosive interview on Club Shay. Cat explained that Cedric had stolen one of his best jokes. This wasn't just any joke. Cat described it as the one that made his career, the one he used as his closing bit during his appearance on BET's Comic View in 1998. The joke was so successful that it became part of the network's commercial for the following season. But, Cat said, Cedric, who had watched him perform it at the Comedy Store, saw an opportunity to claim it as his own. After congratulating Cat on his performance, Cedric took the joke and used it as his own closing material, changing only a small detail about the joke setting for Cat. It wasn't just any stolen punchline, it was the joke that had defined his career. Cat's accusations didn't stop there. He went on to criticize Cedric's comedic abilities, calling him a walrus with no talent. He even went so far as to claim that Cedric couldn't sing, dance, or write jokes, pointing out that none of Cedric's comedy specials were good enough to be available on platforms like Netflix or Tubi? These harsh words may seem extreme, but when you consider the serious accusations Kat has made against Cedric and Steve Harvey, it starts to paint a picture of a deeply complicated and competitive industry. Kat also accused Cedric, Steve Harvey, and Ricky Smiley of conspiring against the late Bernie Mac. He alleged that while the three comedians ended to be friendly with Bernie, they secretly harbored resentment toward him and worked to undermine his career. Kat even went so far as to claim that Steve Harvey was jealous of Bernie's acting career because studios wouldn't give Steve the same opportunities every year. Hollywood sees 300. Zero new scripts yet. None of them were ever looking for a country bumpkin black man who couldn't speak properly and looked like Mr. Potato Head to make it in the industry. You had to have range. Kat Williams believed that Steve Harvey and his circle did their best to sabotage Bernie Mac's career, but their plans didn't unfold the way they expected. According to Kat, the Kings of Comedy cast made the decision to place Bernie as the opening act while letting Steve go last, believing Steve to be the funniest of them all. However, when the footage was edited, the producers decided to place Bernie's performance at the end because in their view, his was the most hilarious at the time. This seemed like a strange claim, but things began to make more sense when DJ Ed Lover confirmed Kat's story. Lover, who was a close friend of Bernie Mac, recalled that Bernie himself had told him about Steve's alleged attempts to sabotage him. According to Lover, Bernie said Steve had tried to get him removed from a role in Ocean's 11 and had done similar things behind his back. Lover said, "I believe Bernie back." When he said Steve Harvey hated on him, this only added weight to Kat's accusations, showing a pattern of behavior that Samuel L. Jackson had been alluding to. The more these stories came to light, clearer the picture became. It seemed as though a small group of men had formed a sort of clique, using their power to crush other comedians who didn't play by their rules. They stole jokes, manipulated situations to keep the spotlight on themselves, and even contacted movie studios to claim roles that rightfully belonged to others, while many of their victims kept quiet and focused on their own careers. Like Bernie Mac, who knew exactly what was going on but chose to stay silent. Outspoken comedians like Kat Williams couldn't remain quiet when they saw what they felt were injustices. They spoke out. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye.